Today, we're looking at a car that'll have you say, "Oh, what were they thinking?" Well, that's the Chevrolet HHR SS, a turbocharged grocery getter with serious performance chops. It wasn't just another quirky retro-styled wagon. This thing had real bite. GM took an economy car and stuffed it with power, and the result? A sleeper that left people scratching their heads at stoplights. In 2006, Chevrolet was in the midst of its transition into an era that would see its vehicles evolve in bold new ways. While the company had solid offerings in the market, they recognized the need for a product that could stand out from the crowd. The Chevrolet HHR, first introduced in 2005, was a vehicle that tried to mix practicality with a retro-inspired design, channeling the spirit of the iconic 1949 Chevrolet Suburban. The HR's overall vibe was quirky, an economy-minded compact wagon with a unique boxy shape that tried to evoke the charm of the 1950s. But let's be honest, the regular HR wasn't exactly setting hearts on fire and isn't why you are here. Sure, it had a decent list of features, was relatively affordable, and had good fuel economy. But in the world of cars, where enthusiasts crave performance and excitement, the HR was far from an object of desire. It had potential but lacked something. That's where Chevrolet's performance division came into play, and suddenly, things got interesting. Enter the HHR SS. Back in 2006, Chevrolet decided they wanted to make something special. Cheryl Catton, the director of car marketing, confirmed that a high-performance version of the HHR was in the works. That announcement alone was enough to spark curiosity among the automotive community. It was a bold move to take a vehicle like the HHR, a utilitarian, somewhat uncool wagon, and transform it into a performance-oriented sleeper. It wasn't just another quirky retro-styled wagon, it was a turbocharged powerhouse. The moment that the HHR SS was revealed to the public, it was clear that GM had put serious thought into making it more than just a visual upgrade. On August 16, 2007, Chevrolet unveiled the 2008 HHR SS at the Woodward Dream Cruise in Michigan. The event showcased a new breed of performance vehicles, and this was Chevrolet's entry into the fray. This wasn't just some badge-engineered attempt at sportiness. GM actually put in the work. The HHR SS was packing a 2.0-liter turbocharged Ecotec LNF engine, the same one found in the Pontiac Solstice GXP and Saturn Sky Redline. This engine wasn't just slapped onto the HHR SS for show. It was a carefully engineered power plant designed to deliver impressive performance. With the 5-speed manual, the HHR SS pushed out a solid 260 horsepower, which was impressive for a car of its size and class. Opt for the 4-speed automatic though, and you were left with 235 horsepower, a downgrade, but still respectable. This turbocharged power was sent to the front wheels, and anyone who's driven a front-wheel drive car with that much power knows that torque steer becomes an inevitable part of the experience. GM wasn't oblivious to that fact, and they equipped the HHR SS with the FE5 performance suspension, which helped improve the car's handling and overall road manners. The suspension system included features like specially tuned dampers, a thicker rear sway bar, and reworked geometry that gave the HHR SS surprisingly good handling for what was essentially a turbocharged cargo van. Speaking of stopping power, GM didn't skimp on the brakes. 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes were standard because, let's face it, if you're hauling around 260 horses in a front-wheel drive van, you need all of the stopping power you can get. The suspension, brakes, and turbocharged engine combined to create a performance vehicle that was unexpectedly fun to drive, turning heads everywhere it went. It was a turbocharged station wagon, sure, but it was one that could hold its own against much more conventional performance cars. And then there was the styling. The HHR SS didn't just get a power bump, it looked the part too. Chevrolet's design team gave the HHR SS a more aggressive aesthetic, including a black cross-mesh grille, unique front and rear fascias, and a liftgate-mounted spoiler that wasn't just for show. It actually helped with aerodynamics. The 18-inch high-polished aluminum wheels gave it a more aggressive stance, making it clear that this wasn't your typical grocery getter. The overall look? It was like a PT cruiser that went to the gym and took itself seriously. It combined the retro styling of the HHR with the performance aesthetics of a muscle car, and it worked. Step inside the HHR SS and you were greeted with a leather-wrapped steering wheel, sport seats, and a titanium analog boost gauge mounted on the A-pillar, because when you've got boost, you have to show it off. The interior was designed to reflect the performance intentions of the car, making it clear that this was a performance vehicle first and a retro-styled wagon second. It wasn't just about looks. The driving experience was at the forefront of this vehicle's design, but Chevrolet wasn't done yet. In 2007, they showed off the HHR SS panel concept at SEMA, which further pushed the limits of what the HHR could be. The HR SS panel was a two-seater, cargo-focused version of the HHR SS, with no rear-side windows, a turbocharged panel van essentially. This was an even more outrageous take on the already quirky vehicle, and it was so well received that Chevy actually put it into production for 2009. Same turbocharged engine, same performance upgrades, just even more ridiculous in the best way possible. It was a statement. Chevrolet was all in on the idea of a turbocharged high-performance HHR. Unfortunately, like all good things, the HHR SS met its end too soon. The vehicle was discontinued after the 2010 model year, a casualty of GM's performance division being shut down. By 2011, the entire 8HR lineup was gone, and just like that, one of the weirdest and most unexpectedly cool vehicles Chevy ever made was history. While the regular AHR lived on for a few more years, the SS variant disappeared, leaving a small but loyal group of fans who appreciated it for what it was, a quirky, fun, and undeniably unique performance machine. The HHR SS was a unique experiment in automotive design. It was one of those rare instances where a company took a chance on an unlikely platform and delivered something truly special. This wasn't just another generic economy car dressed up with sporty badging. This was a full-fledged performance machine, engineered by people who knew what they were doing. The Ecotec LNF engine wasn't just powerful, it was also tunable. With simple modifications, owners could push well past the factory horsepower numbers, making the HRSS a legitimate sleeper. You could buy it, drive it off the lot, and then take it to a tuning shop, where you could easily push its performance even further, making it even more fun to drive. Despite its unconventional looks, the HHR-SS developed a cult following. Enthusiasts appreciated its blend of performance, practicality, and sheer audacity. The fact that it was a front-wheel drive turbocharged wagon with track-ready suspension tuning made it a one-of-a-kind offering in the automotive world. It was the type of car that made enthusiasts and casual drivers alike pause and take notice. It was the type of car you wouldn't expect to be fast, but when the light turned green, it was a serious contender. One of the most impressive feats of the HHR SS was its performance on the track. GM took this seemingly oddball vehicle to the famed Nürburgring in Germany and recorded a lap time of 8 minutes and 43 seconds. To put that in perspective, this little turbocharged wagon was faster around the ring than a BMW E46 M3. That was unheard of for a vehicle based on an economy car platform. The HHR SS wasn't just a fun little car to drive, it was a legitimate performance vehicle capable of holding its own on some of the world's most challenging racetracks. Practicality was another selling point. Unlike many performance cars, the HHR SS still had a spacious interior with room for passengers and cargo. This made it an ideal choice for enthusiasts who needed a daily driver with some extra punch. Whether you were hauling groceries, taking the kids to soccer practice, or hitting the drag strip, the HHR SS was up for the task. It was a performance car that didn't demand sacrifices in terms of practicality, something that was rare in the high-performance world. However, the HHR SS did have its drawbacks. Torque steer was a constant battle, especially when launching hard from a stop. The front-wheel drive layout, while practical, meant that putting down all that turbocharged power cleanly was a challenge. Additionally, the 4-speed automatic transmission was a weak point. It dulled the driving experience and limited the car's performance potential compared to the manual version. These issues weren't deal-breakers for everyone, but they did hinder the HHR SS from being perfect. Despite these issues, the HHR SS remains a fascinating piece of GM history. It was part of an era when automakers were willing to take risks and experiment with unique performance vehicles. Today, it stands as a reminder of what happens when engineers get to have fun with a project. The HHR SS was weird, wild, and completely unexpected, but it was also one of the most exciting cars of its era. The used market has seen the HHR SS gain traction as a modern classic. Prices remain relatively affordable, and for those in the know, it represents an excellent performance bargain. Many owners have embraced the car's tunability, squeezing even more power out of the already potent Ecotec engine. With the right modifications, it can surprise much more expensive and prestigious cars on the street and track. So why does the HHR SS still matter? Because it was one of the last true performance bargains from GM. It was practical, fast, and completely out of left field. It was a car that made no sense. And that's exactly why it was so great. The Chevrolet HHR SS was a car that had no business being as good as it was, but it was, and that's why it holds a special place in automotive history. If you liked this deep dive into one of Chevrolet's most underrated performance machines, make sure to subscribe for more content. We've got plenty more hidden gems and performance legends to talk about. Drop a comment below and let us know. Would you drive an HHR SS, or is it just too weird for you?